The purpose of this brief screencast lecture is to explain the common law mirror image rule and last shot doctrine in preparation for our discussion of UCC section 2207. These rules tell common law courts how to parse the give and take of contractual negotiations. Notice first that the parties in these cases have not used the sort of disclaimer we saw earlier in our discussion of formal closings. They've not signaled that they only intend to be bound when they sign a definitive written agreement. They're exchanging real offers and counteroffers. Thus, offerees have the power to form a contract by accepting. As the textbook car sale examples suggest, an offeree like Wheels for Less will often accept an offer and simultaneously communicate additional or different terms, like the 90-day warranty. But under the common law mirror image rule, an offeree can only accept if she agrees to all and only the terms contained in the most recent offer. Thus the rule treats Wheels for Less's response as a rejection and counteroffer rather than as an acceptance. Although the factual setting is more complex, the principal case you read simply applies this widely accepted doctrinal rule. Here's a quick summary of the sequence of events in DataServe equipment against technology finance leasing. Technology responds to DataServe's November 8th proposal by saying that it comes too late. But DataServe tries to enforce the deal despite this objection. The key fact in this case is that DataServe's late October response to Technology's October 1st offer does not satisfy the mirror image rule. By continuing to insist on a substitute for Clause 8, DataServe makes a counteroffer, and a counteroffer operates as a rejection, and that rejection terminates DataServe's power of acceptance, as we see in Restatement Section 36. Despite this seemingly straightforward analysis, you should take a close look at paragraph 10 of the Court's opinion. In a telex on November 9th, Finnerty says that Technology's offer to purchase was withdrawn on 11/9/79. But if Technology's offer was on the table until November 9th, then DataServe could accept that offer on November 8th. The only way that Technology wins this case is if there was no offer to withdraw. The lesson here is to avoid loose talk that implies that an offer remains open after it's been rejected. So the mirror image rule gives courts clear guidance about how to construe the back and forth of negotiations. It's precise and easy to apply, a classic rule rather than a multi-factor standard. As we'll soon see, UCC section 2207 rejects the mirror image rule for a more permissive and complicated approach. But interestingly, many parties, perhaps even a majority, contract back to the mirror image rule. So the rule must be broadly consistent with what parties expect and desire in their contract negotiations. More troubling, though, is the last shot doctrine. Under this approach, the last shot fired between the parties provides the complete terms of their contract. As I suggest in the textbook introductory note, this is a rather formal and mechanical rule. It creates a very real risk of extremely arbitrary results. Can you see how that would happen? Consider the airport motors hypo again. Notice that the parties gain a significant strategic advantage from being the last one to send an offer, because it's the last communication that provides all of the terms for any resulting contract. This approach creates a so-called battle of the forms, as each party strives to be the last one to send contract terms to the other. The airport motors and Wheels for Less negotiation is one example. Another is the Court's ruling in Rotolith, a frequently criticized decision that's discussed in paragraph 13 of Ionics against Elmwood, which is our next principal case. In that opinion, the Court concludes the defendant accepted the goods with knowledge of the seller's conditions. Under the last shot doctrine, accepting delivery of the goods implies that the buyer has accepted the seller's terms. And so the rule gives absolute control over contract terms to the party who manages to fire off the last term sheet before a dispute arises. Of course, these common law rules don't apply to transactions in goods like the airport motors hypo. Instead, these deals would be governed by the Uniform Commercial Code. Next, in my introduction to the UCC section 2207, we'll see the code drafters attempt to solve the problems that the common law rules create.